This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good morning all. I hope all are able to hear me and all are able to see my screen. We are in a discussion of Power Query, and as part of that, I feel we are done with the three sessions, and as part of that, high level transformations are covered, and we still need to cover a few more transformations. We are going to continue with that session today. So now today, so we are going to observe a concept called parameters. Parameters. So before I start providing some information related to parameters, like in Power BI, we have mainly three features are there. Let's assume you have a Power BI desktop and you have a data source and you are loaded the data from source to Power BI, and you created a visualizations, and this report is shared to the user, and user access the report. Now, as part of the journey, reading the data, loading in Power BI, creating a visualization, sharing with the users. Here, overall, we have a three features are there. Those are slicers, filters, third one parameter. So most of the people might know already what is a slicer. A slicer is nothing but a drop down visual which you used as part of your report, that is used by end user. A slicer is used by end user to filter whatever he want to see. That is a slicer. So slicer is used by end user to filter whatever he want from the available list. That is a slicer. The next one is filters. So some people may know about that one. Some people it is going to cover in a future. A filter is used by developer developer to restrict the data to the user. So though you have a data available here and here, but if you don't want to show that data at that time, we are going to use a filter concept so that user is going to see only filtered data. Okay, that is what filter. And a parameter, it is also used by a developer that will be used here. Before loading the data into Power BI, we are going to filter the data dynamically from a source and load only required data. So these parameters are used to filter or to load the data in Power BI dynamically based on interest. whatever the parameters that you passed, only that parameter data will be there in Power BI. And that is all about a parameter, how to configure and everything we are going to observe. But parameter is used to load the data into Power BI, and the filter is used whatever the data that you already have in Power BI to restrict it to the user based on the business requirement. Filter is used. Slicer is used by end user to filter whatever he want. So our focus is to learn about what is this parameter, how to create a parameter, how to use a parameter. That's it. Okay. So now parameter. So this parameter, you have an option here: manage parameter, edit parameter, new parameter. As of now, as the parameters are not available, I'm creating a new parameter. A new parameter, I said, I mentioned my parameter name is p underscore country. Like I'm creating a parameter for country, and now the description is NA, and I mentioned the type as a text. Suggested value anywhere, like list of values I mentioned Canada is one of the parameter. France is another parameter. Mexico is another parameter. Like that, I'm passing a set of values, and a default value I'm mentioning it as a Canada, and a current value also I'm mentioning a Canada. Okay. So if you observe, there is a one concept called parameter got created, and you can see the list of values whatever I enter here. So it is kind of a drop down component. Now, how this parameter is going to work with your data is how this is going to used to filter your data is, once you create a parameter, you just need to go to your table, and you just need to select a filter, text filters, equals, equals. Here we can pass a value, or we can select an option called parameter. Under parameter, we have only one parameter that is getting displayed here. Now, click on OK. Observe now, if I select Canada here in the parameter, in the financials, you have only Canada. If I select France here, your financials got a France here. If the country, if I select Mexico here, financials got Mexico, which means whatever the value that I selected here, that is automatically getting filtered. So your model is containing only Mexico now. If I load it in Power BI, it is going to contain the data of Mexico only. It contains the data of Mexico only. Okay. So here you don't need to apply any filters. You already filtered the data based on the parameter. I mentioned that I want a Mexico. So Mexico is loaded here. Mexico is available. Mexico available. Mexico available. That's it. So now, if I want to change this one to Canada, under a transform data, you have an option called edit parameters. Select it, change Canada, click on OK. Just apply changes. Observe, you have a Canada. Similarly, transform data, edit parameters, select a France, click on OK, apply changes. बाद में देखो 30 minutes. Uh, Okay, so I select a France data is loaded. Like that, you can select a parameter and you can load the data By using that, you are going to reduce the unwanted data in the model. So here we don't need to load not required data, only required data can be loaded, so that your data volume or data model size is going to be reduced. Okay, and your performance can be increased also. So now that is how we are going to create a parameter and how to use it also. And transform data, I'm going back. So like now I entered a manual values of three, like Canada, France and Mexico. But if I have 20 values, if I have six values, I have 100 values at that time. How we are going to do is, now first I'm removing that parameter whatever I created, I'm deleting it. Next time what I'm going to do is country, right click, add as a new query, right click, delete duplicates, keep remove alternatives, remove duplicates. I have five values. Now I'm going to create a parameter, manage parameter, new. Here I'm selecting it as a textual type suggested. You can mention query. You can pass you can pass a query or a column which is available here which contains a values as a input. So I provide a country query there. By default I'm providing some dummy value. Now you can observe that. Now I'm just to close and apply. Now okay, so what I did is I create a parameter. I create a parameter, and then after I didn't link that one to here. I didn't link that one to here. Okay, close and apply. Now Canada got filtered, and if I want to change any other value, you can see there is a drop down. United States of America, click on OK and apply changes. So you can observe that United States it got filtered. So like that, without manually entering the data, you can create a query, which means you can create a column which contains all that the parameter values, and you can use that as a link. So under manage parameters, you have an option called new parameter. A new parameter window will come, and you have edit parameter. You can change that value of that parameter. So Mexico is selected. Here also it will get filtered for Mexico. And third option is manage parameters. You can observe the list of parameters which are available. From here also you can create a new parameter, or you can modify the existing values also. This is all about parameter concept that is available at our query. Parameters are available at a different areas. Even at a Power BI desktop level also we have separate parameter called what if parameter, field parameter, and similarly in a Power BI service also we have another parameter concept called URL parameters. So what we discussed is the parameter which is available at Power Query. Till here, anyone has any questions? If you have a question, you can unmute and proceed. If you don't have a question, mention no in chat. I just summarized that a parameter is used to load the data dynamically, so that we are not going to load unwanted data in Power BI. We are going to load only required data because we are selecting what we want here. And I mentioned that like when we are not using a parameters, we are going to load a more data, and there if you wanted to share a subset of data to the user, we are going to use a concept called a filter. And after sharing that report with the user, after performing a filter and sharing with the user, if he want to filter something, he has a concept called slicer. Okay, that is all about a parameters. Any questions? 10 5. Okay. Okay, so that is all about parameters. The next one is the next one is the date and time transformations that we have. So here, whenever you select a table and whenever you have a date column with you, whenever you have a date column with you, and whenever you go to transform, observe here when I'm selecting a textual column, when I select a textual column, all these values got disabled under date. Under time also all got disabled. But whenever I select a date, under date, you have a many columns are enabled. And similarly, with time we will observe. Okay, so for now, like I am going to work with a date. Now, let me move this column or duplicate this column. Let me duplicate this column and observe that the date column, date copy or date one is one of the column which contains date related information. When you have a column with the date, what are all you can do is the first one is you can calculate an age. What is the age? Age is nothing but the date that you have here to till today. So when we, if someone asks about age, we are going to say from date of birth to till today. Like that, whenever you want to have age and as output. So from like from a date column, you can select age here. It is going to give a difference between the date which we have here along with the current date. Now when I click on age, it is going to get one result. It is going to get one result. The return type is the return type is like duration. So whenever you call an age, you are going to get the output in the form of age. Now here that like age is you, whenever you select age, the return type you are going to get in the form of duration. Observe here, this duration got enabled. Otherwise previously it disabled. Now when we calculate an age, it got enabled. So the return type of age is a duration. It contains four things. The first one is days, hours, minutes, seconds. So whenever you select an age, like it is going to give a difference between the mentioned date along with the today's date in the form of days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So that is of type duration. We will observe what is this duration and what we can do on top of this one later. Now, other than date only is nothing but there are some scenarios. You may have a date in the form of date and time. Like this, you will have. So, whenever you have a date and time together, if you want only date, you are going to select a date only. I hope you are able to observe. Like some scenarios, you are going to have a date and time. At that time, if you wanted to see only date, at that time you are going to select a date only. Only the date part of date and time you are going to get as an output. That is a date. From this, if you want to extract the year, you are going to get the year only. క్రాంతి తెలిపేవి కొంచెం. So, like whenever you extracted a year, oh, from the given date you are going to get only the year part of it. Only year you got extracted. Similarly, whenever you want to get starting date of the year, in that scenario for each and every date, what is the starting date we are going to get? Now year, start of year. తలుపేసేవా కరెంట్ తర్వాత తర్వాత తలుపు గడేసి. So whenever you click on start of year, for the respective date, starting date of the year we got. Similarly, whenever you select end of date, end of year, end of the year you are going to get. Let's assume if I have a date as like a 12 9 2024. End of year means 31st December 2024 we are going to get. Start of a date is nothing but 1st January 2024. So for the entire year, same starting, same ending value we are going to get, whatever the date is input. That is what start of an year, end of an year. So those are the options that you can do with respect to year. Now if you want to get what is a month, what is the month number of that date, you can get it. Similarly, if you want to get month name of a month. Similarly, if you want start of a month. Similarly, end of a month. Similarly, days in a month, you can get all these things. So month wise you can extract all these things from a date column. You can identify what is the start of a month, you can identify end of a month, and you can identify the name of a month, you can identify that month number, and similarly you can get the number of days in that month. Similarly you have mm, you have this one quarter of the year, start of a quarter, end of a quarter. Similarly, you have a week of the year out of 52 or 53 weeks. What is that week? Similarly, week of a month out of 1 to 5 weeks possible. Like what is the week number of a month? What is the starting day of the week? Ending day of the week? You can get it. Similarly, what is the day? What is the day? And similarly, day of a week in that out of 7, what day of the week out of 1 to 365 or 366, what is the day of the year, start of the day, end of the day, name of the day. So it's a Sunday or Monday or Tuesday you are going to get. So these are all the things that you can extract from like a day. Earlier, latest. Earlier is nothing but it is going to give that minimum value. Latest is nothing but it is going to give that maximum value. It is going to give the maximum value. So you can extract all these things from a date. So Power Query, I mentioned that it is a transformation layer. By using a Power Query, we are going to perform a transformation, which is nothing but this one. From your available date, we are extracting year or a month or a quarter or a week or a day, whatever we want, we are extracting from whatever the data that we are getting. That is raw data. From that raw data, we are going to derive all these things, and we are going to create a trends by quarter, by week, by month, by year. In your data, you will not get a year, week, quarter. You are going to get only data. We are going to derive these things, and we are going to create a visuals on top of these things so that users can understand very easily. So these are the transformations that we have at a date level. Similarly, whenever you have date and time, if you have a time, let's assume from that time, if you want only time means you can mention time only. so that a date will be removed. Then after, if you want to extract hour, you can get the extract of hour. If you want to extract the minute, if you want to extract the second, you can extract it. If you want to find the what is the minimum time and maximum time that you have, you can make it. This is all about a time level transformation that we have. Similarly, you have like an option called age, which is available in the form of a duration. Now, from the duration, so duration is nothing but I mentioned, you have a result in this format: days, hours, minutes, seconds. From that, if you want only days, you will select a days. You are going to get only day. From this, if you want only hours, you can extract only hours. From this, if you want only minutes, you will get only minutes. From this, if you want only seconds, you are going to get the seconds. Okay. So now, from this data, whatever you want, you are going to get. Then after, if you want to convert everything in the form of years, you can select years. Okay, so if someone asks you what is your what is your age, instead of saying X years, if you say that I have a 4,000 days, people cannot understand. So if you want to convert that one into like years, it will be converted everything into years. Similarly, if you want to convert into days, it is going to convert into days. Similarly, you can convert that one into complete hours, complete minutes, complete seconds. Based on your interest, you can do anything. Then after, if you want to divide this one by like hours, if you want to divide this one by any value, or if you want to multiply that one by any value, you can make. Then after, if you want to take a minimum, maximum, average values, you can take it. So that is all about the options that you have at duration. So what we observe now is like whatever the transformations that we can do at a date, time, and a duration, we observed. So if you have a data as a date level transformations will be enabled. If you have a data in the form of a date and time, the time will be enabled, or time will be enabled. If you have the data in the form of a duration transformations will be available. You can do the transformations. So till here, anyone has any questions? If you have a question, unmute and proceed. If you don't have a question, mention no in chat. Okay. So the next one is we observed these three things. Now I am just manually entering some data, manually entering some data like A, B, C, D, 25, 36, 49, 4, 9, 1, 3, 4, 5. Then after 123.7123 and 123.1234 and minus 10 and then after 12.9, then after 12.1. Okay. So now, then after 100, 10,000, 25. So I just loaded some data. Now, so here we have a few more transformations. Those are nothing but standard. A standard is nothing but like if you want to add something or divide something or multiply something, and if you want to do a percentage of something, you can do that one. Let's assume for that given column called B, I'm just duplicating a column for a B. I want to add a 5. So you can observe that 1 plus 5 6, 2 plus 5 7, 3 plus 5 8, 4 plus 5 9, 5 plus 5 10 we got. Similarly, if you want to multiply into 6, you got 6 into 5 30, 6 into 4 24. So like that, you can perform a calculation of a division, subtraction, modulo, or a percentage of you can do a calculation. Other than that, you have an option called scientific. So under a scientific, like here you have the first operation called absolute value. An absolute value is nothing but it is going to take a value as input and it is going to return the positive value of a given number. So observe here I am doing an absolute. Whenever I make an absolute, observe what is the difference between the column C and C copy that you are having. Minus 10 become a 10 and 12.9 become a 12.9, 12.1 become a 12.1 and 123.12345 and 123.71. So you got everything as a positive numbers. Only the minus value become a positive. So whenever you select absolute or ABS, that is nothing but it is going to return a positive value of a given number. And the next one is power. So whenever you wanted to perform a square of a given number, at that time you can use a power square. So 5 square 25, 4 square 16, 3 square 9, 2 square 4, 1 square 1. You got a square. Similarly, if you want to calculate a cube of a given number, at that time again power cube of a given number you got 25 cube 125, 4 cube 64, 3 cube 27, 2 cube 8, 1 cube 1. Similarly, if you want to perform power of a given number, I am making a 2 to the power of 10, 3 to the power of 10, 4 to the power of 10. You can observe that the respective values came. You can use this as a dynamic, whatever the value that you want to provide, you can provide as a power. As a power of power, you can mention anything 25, 100,000, you can provide any value. N to the power of m value will be calculated. That is all about power. Square root, if you want to perform a square root of a given number, so I'm just applying a scientific square root. 25 square, 36 square, 7 square, sorry, like here 25 square, 36 square, 49 square, 4 square, 9 square, you got a values as a 5 6 7 2 3. Square root value was calculated. Similarly, if you want to calculate an exponent of a given number, so you have an option called which exponent is nothing but e to the power of n, e to the power of n. So whatever the value that we passed before, e to the power of 5, e to the power of 6, e to the power of 7, e to the power of 2, e to the power of 3, that value will be calculated, we are going to get it. Then after logarithm, and if you want to calculate the logarithm of a given number, and you have two options are there, which are nothing but log to the base 10. Log to the base 10 is nothing but log 1000 base 10, log 100 base 10, log 10 base 10, log 10,000 base 10, log 25. Log 10 to the base 10 is 1. 100 means 10 square, 10 cube, 10 to the power of 4. That respective values came. And log 25 base 10 value is this one. Similarly, if you want to perform a logarithm without a base 10, and if you want to a natural logarithm if you want to perform, at that time you can mention like a natural. So log n base to the e we are going to get. So that calculation value we are going to get there. The next one is the next one is సందీప్ మెసేజ్ చేస్తాడు కానీ క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను చెప్పి నువ్వు కాల్ చేసి మాట్లాడు సందీప్ వాడు ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్ళాను. So that is all about logarithm. The next one is a factorial. Factorial, if you want to calculate a factorial of a given number, you can use this factorial. 1 means 1 you are going to get, 2 means 2 into 1, 3 means 3 into 2 into 1, 4 means 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, 5 means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. You are going to get the factorial of a given number. So that is all about factorial. The next one is trigonometry. If you want to perform any trigonometric calculations, sine, cos, tan, cot, all those things, you can use these things. Similarly, rounding. So whenever you have a decimal values, if you want to round up is always going to give a next number. So observe here, round up means 124, 124 minus 10, 13, 13 you got. 123.71. Normally if you round it, 124 will come, and whenever you round this one, 123 will come. But in this scenario both the values 124 came, and in this scenario also both the scenarios 13 came. Why? Because round up is always going to round to the next number. Similarly, whenever you perform a round down, it is always going to round to the previous number, whatever you have. So 123, 123, 10, 12, 12. Even 12.9 become a 12. That is all about round down. Round is nothing but actual round, whatever the number of positions that you want to round, based on that it is going to get rounded. So now, in this scenario, I don't know which number I rounded. So let me select this one, round number of decimals 1. You can observe that 123.71 it becomes 123.7. 123.1 it was rounded for 123.1. 120 like 12.9 it was 12.1. If I round it to 0 digits, it is not going to perform a round up or round down. Actual rounding will be happened because 12.1 it is less than 5. 12 it got rounded, 12.9 it got rounded to 13. 123.1 it got rounded to 123, 123.7 it got rounded to 124. So it is a this one is a normal round, and if you wanted to perform a round up or round down to the nearest integer, we can use this one. Similarly, information for any given number, if it is even, if it is even, it is going to return a positive value 1. True, it is going to return. And if we select is odd, we are going to get a, like wherever the number is odd we are going to get a false. Like let's understand this one, like column b will perform. So whenever you mention information is even, so you, whatever the even numbers that we have, those are going to get as a true. True. And is odd means whatever odd numbers we have, those are going to get a true. And sign means if it is a positive value we are going to get a 1, if it is a negative value we are going to get a minus 1, if it is 0 we are going to get a 0. So negative value we have here something, so sign I mentioned, you can observe that for negative value for minus 10 we got a minus 1, and if you have 0 we are going to 0. So that is all about standard scientific trigonometry, round, information, date, time and duration. And if you observe these things, whatever we covered just now, under transform tab, the same are available here also under add column. Observe here, Under a add column, you have a duration, you have a time, you have a date, you have a standard, you have a scientific, trigonometry, rounding, information. So the same are available there and here, both the areas. So I'm stopping here. We'll continue from here in the next session. And as part of tomorrow's session, we are going to close the remaining part of a add column transformations, whatever we have before to this one. And similarly, under transform also, as I mentioned, till from here we covered, but the split we already covered, move we already covered, fill we covered, replace value covered, rename covered, detect data type is covered, detect data type is not covered, and data type we covered, use first row header as first row group by we covered. So we are going to clean the home tab, transform tab, add column, whatever we have we will cover. Remaining all will be covered day after tomorrow and we'll close this module. So I'm stopping till here. All the videos of Power Query is already uploaded in the drive, and all these are available uploaded as part of one of the YouTube link also. And if you don't have that link, I will share. If anyone has a required drive access, Naresh will help. And all the videos are up to date. This also will be uploaded by afternoon. Make sure that you are going to practice. I'm stopping now and will connect tomorrow at the same time. Thank you all.